Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. This will be a continuation and the final one of a series of them that I've been talking about a trip that I went to Greece back in 2022 with my family. In a previous podcast, I've talked about Athens. I've talked about Celestial Cruise Line, the cruise line that we went on as we were out there. And I've also talked about the first three stops that we went on that cruise. In a previous episode, I talked about it was Patmos, it was Mykonos, and it was Ephesus. Not in that order, but those are the three. Anyways, today I'm going to finish it up by finishing up what we did on that cruise, where we went. It was a cruise that I'd never gone on that many stops before in such a short amount of time. We actually did 6 stops in the span of just 4 days. And today I'm going to talk about the other three stops that we went on. The first one that we did was Rhodes. Rhodes was an all day thing. The first stop that we went on was only one stop that day. It was a Monday. We left on a Monday, and we went to Mykonos. But that wasn't an all-day thing. We were just there for the evening, and then 2 stops on Tuesday, 2 stops on Thursday. Wednesday was the only day that we had one stop, and we were there the entire day. The entire day, we did a tour, which was nice because just like in Ephesus the day before, we were able to get a tour, and the tour was actually provided by the cruise line. Not many cruise lines will give you a free tour, but they were able to do that, which was really nice. So we went on this tour, and on this tour that we got to take for free, we ended up going to on top of a high hill. I guess you could say that. I don't think it was considered a mountain, hill, mountain, whatever. And then from there, we had to walk up these little alleyways to get to the very top, where we saw like this big fortification, and on top of that, there was a lot of ancient ruins. A lot of walking on this one, and if you're not one to walk, this probably wouldn't be the tour for you. I don't mind walking. I'm okay walking. I'm not a big fan of running if I don't have to, but I don't mind walking. This one did have a lot of walking. It had a lot of stairs. In order to get up there, obviously we are going on an incline to get up there. Even when we went through the city, there was a little town that we went through, had all these like little alleyways. I thought that was really cool. A lot of shops. I don't believe we bought anything when we were in Rhodes. Um, but I still thought it was pretty cool that we uh, had, just I like those little alleyways. Uh, I don't know why, I just do. But to go up there, we're constantly going up an incline through the city, and then even more so when we're actually getting up to the ancient ruins. The tour guide that we had was similar to the one we had before, where had like a little blue sign and holding it up, and a microphone kind of attached to her so we could all hear her as she's describing different things. I did like the tour guide that we had in Ephesus a little bit better, but she was still nice. Um, she still knew a lot of things and got to learn a lot of different things from her. And so we went up there, and there was a lot of, as I said, a lot of walking. There was going, once you got up there, you're kind of going in and through the ruins. Um, we stopped at one point, and she explained some more things. There was other tour guys going. So because going up this stairway to get up there, it wasn't designed to have tour you know uh, groups going all at one time. So there were times where certain ones could go up and certain ones were coming down, and we had to wait for that because it was a little bit more narrow, couldn't fit everyone all at once. We got up there, and from up there you could look around and just see absolute beautiful views. uh, the water, the city. You could see just different things on the island. Just amazing view from up there. In addition to what you're seeing with the ancient ruins. Again, if you are a fan of history, if you're a fan of um, archaeology, if you're a fan of anything like that, definitely go here and go see this because it's definitely worth seeing. That's for sure. It's not always my favorite thing in the world to do, but well, I shouldn't say that. I actually do enjoy it. I'd rather do that than go to the beach, to be honest with you. I should say I don't view myself as a history buff or some big history guy. I can find it fascinating if someone's telling me about it, And I do find it fascinating to think like way back when all this stuff was new and somebody thought, wow, this is really cool back then. And now we're looking at it, still saying the same thing, but it's all ancient ruins now. But back then, it was new to somebody, and no doubt it took a lot of hard work to make all that stuff when it came to building all of it and doing it without the modern conveniences and technology that we have today. I can appreciate it. I can find it fascinating. I don't have some passion for it, like I'm going to a sports game or something like that. Uh, so I don't view myself as a history guy. So maybe that's where that comment came from. But I can still appreciate it. I can still enjoy it and relate, relay it to you. But if you love it, if you are passionate about it, then it's definitely a place to go see. Rose was very nice. We went up there. We got to enjoy beautiful scenery. Got to see some very nice ancient ruins. And then on our way back down, we had to, basically come down the way we came. As we're coming down, they had, I guess you could say, a little vendor or two, as well as a bathroom um, that everyone could use. But the bathroom was like very small, and you had to kind of like go down the hill and down the stairs and into it. And if I remember correctly, I don't think they had really any doors. So, and because it was so narrow, it was kind of like men and women were both in line at the same time. Um, and people were coming up too out of it. So that made it maybe a little awkward. I think there wasn't. I mean, I think there was doors like on the stalls and stuff like that, so there was some privacy in that way. But I don't remember any doors being on the bathrooms itself, and they were kind of like right next to each other. And I can't remember if they had a you shared a sink to wash your hands. Everyone shared a sink, or if they did have that separated. But that was kind of a unique bathroom experience. I'm not going to lie. I didn't use the bathroom. I just wanted to go wash my hands. For those who know me, and if you don't know me, I'm actually very picky when it comes to the cleanliness of my hands. I probably wash them and sanitize them way more often than need to, but something that was kind of instilled in me when I was 19, and then COVID just amped it up a bit. So I've always been that way. Um, so I went down there to wash my hands for whatever reason, and just the awkwardness of all of that was kind of funny. I can't remember if any of my family had to actually use the bathroom or not. They may have, I don't remember. Anyways, we got through all that, and but next to it, as you walked up, um, they had a vendor that had some stuff to eat, some stuff to drink, and I remember getting like a fruity type of icy drink. I don't think there was any alcohol in it. I think it was just kind of like a fruit drink, almost like if you were to have like a virgin daiquiri, that kind of thing. Um, I mean, yeah, I really don't think there was any alcohol in it from what I remember, and it was really good. I remember getting it, and so I'll be honest, I'm more of I'd rather eat my sugar than I'd rather drink my sugar. I still like it. I just if I had to choose between the two, sadly, I don't have the metabolism when I used to as a teenager. I got to be careful how much sugar I put in my body as much as I love it. So I would rather eat my sugar than drink my sugar. In that case, though, I did take it and drink it, and it was very good. And if I do have a drink that I'm drinking on, sipping on, um, I'm usually going through it pretty quick. I'll drink it. A few seconds later, take another drink. A few seconds later, take another drink. I'm not one. It's not going to take me forever to drink whatever it is that I got. Very good. Shared it with my wife. Or no, no, no. I take it back. I don't think I should. She got one flavor and I got another flavor, and then we were able to uh, sample each other's. We do that a lot actually, because I like to try different things. I really do. Um, so I like a perfect thing for me is if I go to a buffet and I have a little bit of everything. I don't pile on the plate, and I just get a little sample of everything. I like to sample a lot of different things. All right, I'm going off on somewhere else here. Anyways, we got those drinks, started heading back down, and believe we got back to the bus. From there, drove back to town. When we got back into the town, city, whatever you want to call it, the tour wasn't quite over yet. We still had some more things to see. And it was really cool because I'd never seen this in person either. But the city had an ancient moat, or what they used to have a moat. And I've read, about moats so many times before, but I've never seen one. We don't have them now. I live in Michigan. It's not like, Detroit's got a moat around it. It's not really a thing that we really do anymore. Um, Not that it was active, not that it had water in it. It was dried up, but just the fact that we walked over it, um, as we were going into town. Later on, we were able to get down in there and walk through the moat around the town and out at some sort of sewer passageway to get back into the streets. It was kind of funny to go through there. Um, but to be able to experience that, to see that in person for the first time in my life, I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And going through town was nice too. They had a ton of ancient buildings, a lot of nice shops, typical shops and restaurants and things like that you're going to see. But to be able to look around and see, ancient buildings that look like either watchtowers or I think there was maybe libraries. Um, you know, I don't recall what they all are. I just remember, you're going to see them and you're going to say, okay, that's not a modern building. That's something from years ago. Really nice. And I enjoyed that. So I enjoyed walking through town, but I really thought going through that moat was really cool. So I don't think all of my family went through. I think if I remember correctly, it was me, my wife, and my uncle. Somehow we broke away from the group. We were all kind of together on the tour, but when we got back to the city part of it, that was kind of it. We walked through it, and then at the end of it, it was kind of done there, and everyone went their separate ways. And the ship was nearby, and then from there we started walking around, but people started going kind of their separate ways. And me and my wife and my uncle, somehow we were the ones that got down there to that moat, walked through it, came out. Still weren't around anybody when we got back into that city. When we got, I won't say it was a sewer, but it was some sort of like tunnel pathway that we went through. Ended up getting back into the city from there. And while with him, as we were kind of walking along, we came across this one nice. I don't know if it was a restaurant, but they may have served food, but they definitely had drinks there. Um, they sat us down. We were able to go in there. They sat us down. My uncle bought us all something to drink, um, like a lemonade or something like that. I can't remember everything that we had. I mean, we each had a drink, and it was kind of nice just to be able to sit down, talk with him. Nice setting. We were in a breezy area under the shade. Uh, that was really nice. And I don't always get a chance to do a lot of stuff with my uncle. Um, I'll see him here and there passing. So for me and him to, or me and my wife to be able to sit down with him, that was nice. Eventually, though, as we continued walking, we did eventually get back with some of the family. And again, there were shops there. I don't think I bought anything in Rhodes. Um, I mean, we had that drink, but as regards like souvenirs or anything like that, I don't remember buying anything. At one point, I did need to use the bathroom, and the ship was kind of a little bit further away, and there were other people that were still shopping. Not that it was super far, but far enough. And they had a bathroom there for the public, but you had to pay for it. And I'm kind of anti pay for the bathroom type of thing because that should just be a basic human right, right? And I remember the bathroom that we saw up the hill. And I remember even as a little boy, the last time I'd been to Greece prior to this 2022 trip was back in '95. I remember, where were we? Were we in Turkey at that point or Chios? Wherever we were. I remember I was with my grandparents. They had, and I had to use the bathroom as a child, and they had to pay for it, which I mean, it's not much, but you know, and I just remember it was like filthy, disgusting. It was basically a hole in the floor. That was kind of the bathroom situation back then. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I really don't want to pay for using the bathroom just in the first place. And only that, I can't imagine how disgusting this is going to be. But the ship and my personal bathroom in the cabin was way far away. All right, fine. I forgot how much it was, but maybe a drachma or something. I wasn't like super expensive, just the principle of the matter. But had to, had to use it. I went in there, and that had to be the cleanest, nicest bathroom I'd ever been in my life. It was like a Bucky's. bathroom. I don't know if you know what Bucky's is. They're kind of famous down south and all over. They're palatial bathrooms that they have in their gas stops or whatever gas station. I don't even know what Bucky's is. The gas station or pistol, I don't know, whatever it is. But anyways, they're known for such nice bathrooms. That was like this. Like, and I'm because I'm picky with my hands, but in a way, sometimes even just regular, just a germaphobe in general. And I couldn't believe how nice that bathroom was. I guess if you pay a drachma, there was a woman there. She kind of always kept the bathrooms clean, both men and women. Obviously, if a man wasn't in there, she would go in there. So I guess maybe that drachma helped keep it clean. I live in Michigan where we don't have to pay for road construction at the moment. There's no toll roads, and our roads are always bad. Other places you might have to pay a toll road, but the roads are a lot nicer. Maybe that's the principle behind it. You pay for it, you get something nicer. I don't know. Anyways, that was one of the nicest bathrooms in the world. Um, anyways, went through with that, and it was from there we started heading back towards the ship, and we were starting to cut it close. We started to cut it close. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. I remember for whatever reason, maybe we were just trying to get across traffic. Maybe that was, but I remember running, and and then we were hopping over like this little wall or whatever to get onto the sidewalk from the street, and I tripped over it. I was in my brand new shoes too. Tripped over it, scuffed them up, fell down, and that was embarrassing. And my uncle, my mom, my wife, are you okay? Are you okay? I was down for a moment, and I was like, yeah. And I was down for a moment or two, not because I was injured, but I was just kind of embarrassed. Like, goodness, Jason, falling around like you're a 4-year-old. um, I was fine. Got up, but we were in by the water at the docks, and we were trying to get back. And they did have a nice, what looked like a long pier that you could see in the distance. Some family of mine may have gone over there actually and gone into the water, because again we kind of broke off. And I know my cousin Azaria loves getting into the water. And maybe my aunt was there too with her, because I kind of vaguely remember them going over there. They at least saw it. Maybe they went in the water. I don't know. But it was real pretty from a distance, anyways. I'm sure it was pretty going up front. And then we went back, got to see our ship, take some pictures of it, and we were docked next to Norwegian on one side, and on the other side we were docked next to Viking. Now Viking, if you've ever heard of Viking, usually they're kind of smaller, more intimate river cruises. Very nice from what I hear. I mean, very nice. But this was a bigger cruise ship. First time I'd ever seen Viking on a bigger cruise ship. So maybe they're dipping their toes in the water when it comes to the larger vessels. Anyways, that was kind of cool to see. We went up, we got back on, went up. I got to look around, take some pictures from the ship, um, and then we headed out later there. And this was again eventually in the evening time. We were there all day. This was on a Wednesday. There all day. Very nice area to go to. Um, there was a lot of things in and around the city to see. Again, ancient buildings, fountains, a lot of different things, restaurants, places to eat. Very nice place to visit. Very nice place to visit. Somewhere if you want to go to, let me know. j.paradise@gmail.com. That's where you can email me, or you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram at Jay's Paradise Travels, Jays. So that was all of Wednesday. The following day was Thursday, our last day to actually see things. Friday morning was when we were getting back into Athens. So Thursday was the last day. 2 stops in Thursday. The first stop was in Crete, and the city that is, I may mispronounce this, Heraklion? It's spelled Heraklion. And I know the way I was pronouncing it before was not the actual way to pronounce it, and I was trying to get it right, but I was struggling to get it right. Heraklion? Anyways, so we get there, that's in the morning, and they had different tours that were like right there outside the ship. that you could get, bus tour or cab tour or whatever the tours were, that you could do. We had thought about maybe doing that, but we ended up not. We did take a cab though instead over into town, into the city, and from there, we walked around and did some shopping. At this point, last day, I had bought maybe a souvenir or two, but I still wanted to buy some other stuff for my friends. Again, I'm not really one for souvenirs. I don't have a big desire. When I was younger, I did. I collected things like keychains and snow globes and whatever else. I grew older. Keychains are on eBay. Snow globes broke. I mean, just I don't know. And it's just not me. I'm not a souvenir guy. But I wanted to get some for my friends, other friends, just because I'm not doesn't mean other people aren't. So I was looking around, and I had something in mind that I wanted to get for some of the friends that I wanted to get it for. And as I was shopping, now we got there, and there was one big long street or road that had a ton of shops on it, and that's basically where we stuck with it. From there, there was other side streets and intersecting streets that we did get to go down to. It was very modern, very, I won't say I was like in New York City, but somewhat very, modern city like. Um, almost like an outdoor mall to a degree. Uh, yeah, very nice. And I did recall getting something, but while not looking for it, I did end up getting a shirt for myself. And I found one that because I got the same place that I got that shirt, I got a couple other shirts for some friends. Um, and I've even worn it before. I've been trying lately to try to wear shirts that are uh, something that has to do with the podcast I'm talking about. Like right now, I'm wearing Santorini. I'll be talking about Santorini next. That was our last stop. Um, the other one I had on a sweatshirt at Mykonos because one of the stops was Mykonos. Um, but yeah, one of the shirts I had, that phrase, it's all Greek to me. That's what it says. But then it'll have something that you'd say in English and then translating how you said it in Greek. I thought that was kind of cool. Again, I'm not really one for souvenirs or shirts or anything like that. But that one kind of spoke to me because being Greek, uh, I don't know how to speak Greek. I know a few words, I know, a little bit. And so that kind of was like a rundown of some of the things that I knew, plus some of the things I didn't. So I could kind of learn a little bit. Not that I'm going to be fluent in it by this shirt, but at least learn a few things on it. And it could be kind of a conversation starter. I went into Walmart once wearing it, and the two greeters there really loved the shirt, and I got to show it to them, and uh, that was really cool. Um, so that shirt, kind of spoke to me a little bit, and I decided to get that. Now, here's the thing: if you decide to go to Greece and you decide to buy a shirt or souvenir, always buy whatever size you are above. For instance, if you are a large, get an extra large. If you are an extra large, get an extra extra large. I'm an extra large. I used to be a large. Well, I got married and got bigger. That happens. Um, and I wear an extra large here, but an extra large here in the States is not necessarily extra large there in Greece. They're just smaller people. Maybe they don't have as much junk food and fast food as we do. Their food is actually very delicious, very healthy for you. Maybe that is part of it. Their extra large is not our extra large. There's about a size difference. So I bought an extra large, not really realizing this, and when I wear it, it's kind of tight on me. I can fit into a large, it just is a little tight, which I think sometimes people do that, men do that anyways as a style, kind of makes them look more buff or something. Whatever reason. I mean, I guess that's kind of nice, but I mean, that's not really me. I can do it. I can fit myself into a large, but I'm more comfortable in an extra large. I bought an extra large there. It's a little tight on me. Uh, so I'll wear it, but I'll wear it, here and there, not a lot. Um, so I got that, and I got some shirts for my friends. That was the only things I bought there. We continued looking around, continue shopping around, and I was kind of looking for that. I still had some other friends that I wanted to get, but I just couldn't find anything that that I thought that they might like. So we did a lot of shopping there. A lot of nice things to see there. I remember they had some. They didn't have like ancient buildings necessarily. Like I said, this was a little bit more modern. They had some cool designs and features like a fountain and maybe some other buildings. Um, there were still nice things to see there. Just again, very very modern. Like we were there half the day, didn't do any excursions or anything, just shopped. I'm sure there is nice things to go see and do, and if we ever go back, maybe we'll take a tour or something. But this time around, we just did that. Went back again, near it, some beautiful water, some things that were sticking out of the water that was really nice at their pier. I don't think we were docked next to any cruise lines. We were docked next to some ships, and I got to take some pictures of that. But we weren't necessarily docked by any cruise lines, from what I recall seeing. That was half the day. And then from there, we left and went to our final stop of this trip, Santorini, which my favorite. Well, no, Ephesus ended up being my favorite stop for a certain reason because of that amphitheater we got to see on the tour. But I will say that Santorini was absolutely gorgeous. Just magnificent views from there. As you're sailing into it, you don't dock right up there. You got to tender in. Well, as you're sailing up to it, you see, a big mountain-like island, and there's other mountain-like islands all around. It's all very similar, all these rocks and such. Um, but you're going up to it. This is my first time laying eyes on it. I didn't get to go to Santorini when I was 10. Heard a lot about it, and knew that it's a nice place to visit. It's one of those nice destinations you hear about, but first time getting to lay eyes on it and going up to it, I didn't quite see it quite yet because we were on the ship going up to it, and you could just see the stuff. It's almost like if you were to go to an amusement park. At least I know this with Cedar Point. You go to the amusement park, you see the rides in the distance, but uh, because they're not skyscrapers, you're thinking, oh, is that it? If you could see New York City, the skyline, uh, on the other side, and it looks magnificent. Um, but sometimes you're going up to something, you might think, oh, is that it? But until you get into it, then you're like, oh yeah, all right, this is very impressive. To me, that was Santorini. Going up to it, I was looking, I was like, oh, okay, not bad, not bad. Until we went up there, and it's like, oh, this is absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. When we got in there, as I said, we didn't dock in there. We had to tender in, and we tendered in. Got to sit with my cousin Maddie, talk with her, took a picture with her, and this was kind of nice because my family, I don't always. I mean, some of my family lives close, like my uncle, my cousin. I had another cousin lives in Hawaii. She's the one that's uh, uh, kind of likes to go in the water. I don't always get to be around my family, even though some of us live close. I don't always get to be around or hang out with my family. So it was kind of nice. And there are certain spots, whether we were on the bus or we were on a ship or getting a drink, that I actually got to associate and be with my family a little bit. That was nice. Um, we get there, and there's a couple ways that you can get up to the top because you're at the bottom by the seashore, and the city's really up on top of the hill or mountain, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple ways to get up there. There's a big windy road that goes up. You can go that way and walk your way up. I don't know how long it takes. Probably a good, at least I would say probably half hour, depending on your walking speed. Coming down, you could do the same thing. Probably takes you a little less time to come down because going up is always harder than going down. Or if you're willing to pay for it, there is like this sky train ride type of thing that can take you up there. I don't remember how much it was, maybe 15 euro a person or something like that. To me, that is more convenient. There was the tender that we came on from our cruise line. Basically, that was everyone. So we had to wait a bit. There were some people in front of us. However, uh, it wasn't like we had all these different cruise lines coming in at once and there was hours worth of waiting. We waited probably, I don't know, maybe a half hour ish by the time we got up there, maybe even less than that. And then it takes you up there. The ride to go up 5, 10 minutes, 15 at the most. I don't think it was too long if I remember correctly. It was a nice ride going up there. Now, if you're scared of heights, you may not care for it. Sort of like being on a ski lift, right? It's not exactly being on a ski. It's not open. You're in a closed thing. But if you're not good with heights, you might get a little nervous with it. I'm fine with heights. I'm okay with it. To me, it's safe. We got up there and eventually down perfectly fine. And you see a nice view, and as you're looking out over the water, I mean, you can see your ship. Even when you get up to the top, as you're looking out, there's these gorgeous views. You can see your ship. You can see the water. You can see the other islands all around. So nice. They had again something I like. They had uh, little alleyways with shops, but they also had even narrow paths around the island that you'd go through, and it was an alleyway, but because it was open and you could look out and see the water, you can see the islands. Um, in addition to being on this narrow path, absolutely gorgeous. At one point, the sun set in Santorini, and that was the most beautiful sunset I had ever seen in my life. The most beautiful place I'd ever seen in my life was Santorini. Just I can't. If I had to rank them all, out of all the places I've ever been to in my life, and there's been some beautiful ones. Greece has a lot of up there, but Santorini is number one. I've never seen a more beautiful view than Santorini. Um, Something that pictures don't do justice. They just don't. When you see it in person, because I'd seen pictures before. In fact, most of you probably have. You probably see a picture behind me right now. Um, a lot of times you see pictures such as this one, whitewashed walls with the blue dome. When they show a picture of Greece, a lot of times something like that is what you see. That's Santorini. It's not Athens. Um, Although Athens has its beautiful views and its ancient ruins and whitewashed stuff too, but the majority of things that you are seeing, such as this picture behind me, is Santorini, and those are beautiful. But it doesn't do it justice. It really doesn't. Seeing it in person, it just doesn't compare. Doesn't compare. So I highly encourage everyone, if you have the time and money to be able to do it at least once in your life, go visit Santorini. Go see Santorini and go enjoy the beautifulness of this place. So we went in the daytime. Again, this was the second stop of the day. So we went in the daytime, but as we eventually left, it was nighttime. And while you're up there, you can see other parts of the island. You see a lot of homes, a lot of restaurants, a lot of hotels, resorts. They're all kind of scattered, on this sloping island. Not sloping, but you kind of see it's not flat. Um, and you can see it at night. It's beautiful. In the day, it's beautiful. Both day and night, it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, pictures don't do it justice. But we walked around, and as we're walking, I'm taking pictures. Our family's pretty much staying together at this point. We didn't really break off this time. Um, the only time we kind of did, we sort of did a little bit. I went up a little further. I think a couple, maybe my uncle, my dad went to. I wanted to try to get a better shot at a building like what you see behind me of the whitewashed wall and the blue dome. I wanted to try to get a better shot of that from where I was at. Um, but then we eventually met up again. I know my cousin Azaria at one point, she actually stopped and went to one of those local restaurants. I was right there on the edge. Where you can, you're sitting down, you're eating, you're looking out, you see this gorgeous view. And at one point she did that. I think she got maybe a bite to eat and some tea or something like that, drink. Um, and then we continued walking on. We did again. They had some alleyways that you can go through, do some shopping. Now this is the last stop. I definitely need to get some souvenirs for a couple more friends, and I did. I was able to find it. I also found, again, I'm not really looking for myself, but I found an inexpensive Greek ring that I bought for myself, and the reason why. I'm not a jewelry guy, watch guy, nothing usually on my hands. Even my wedding band, I hardly ever use. A couple of reasons. One, just germaphobe, a lot of a lot of disgusting things in the world. I don't want to get my ring dirty. And two, I can have the tendency to maybe play with it or somehow lose it. It comes off my finger or you know, whatever. And that ring is sacred to me, and so I hardly ever use it. I don't know if that's the best way to go about things, but that's just what I do or what I don't do, however you want to view that. Because of that, uh, I don't wear it too often. I don't feel like I necessarily need to. I know I'm married to Selena. She knows she's married to me. Um, Not like I'm going after other girls, and I don't see girls coming after me even without it off. So I don't think we have any problems there. But sometimes it is nice to wear something. So I was looking around. I saw like this little ring that had kind of a Greek look to it. Um, I don't know how to describe it, what the Greek style is. It's almost like little squares or little dots in it. I should have actually brought it so I could show it on the podcast. Oh well, that's all right. Anyways, I bought that. That wasn't too expensive, and I figured, for the times that I do want to go out and wear a ring, but not wear my actual wedding band, I could wear this ring, and I did. As time's gone on, I haven't even worn that as much because again, I don't know. I'm not a ring guy. I'm not a jewelry guy. Not an accessories guy. I maybe need to work on that though. It probably wouldn't hurt to wear just because it is for being only an inexpensive thing. Actually, it's kind of nice. Anyways, I bought that for myself, and I did find some souvenirs that I wanted to get for my friends. We got that there, and in looking around through these different places, out of nowhere, I saw it was off one of the smaller uh, alleyways, down a little staircase. There's a shop there, a small little shop, and I mean it was just surrounded by this beautiful greenery. It was just absolutely gorgeous. I took a picture of that too. The picture again does not do this justice, but I took a picture of it. Absolutely gorgeous. We went in there, didn't buy anything, but again, just kind of went in there. Continued looking around, and eventually, once I found the things I needed to see or to get, I didn't need to be there anymore, and it was starting to get a little bit later. The last tender, we were getting kind of close to that time. We still had a little bit of time left, but we weren't the last ones off. This one family who we kept running into everywhere. It was a mother, a father, and three sons. They were behind us, so we weren't the last ones. Um, but we were at least one of the last, if not the last tender, I think maybe second to last tender back on the ship. And we may have even gotten some stuff to munch on while we were there because there's bakeries, there's restaurants. We may have gotten some treats at the bakery too. I mean, I do love sweets. My dad loves it too. He used to be a Greek uh, pastry chef in a bakery when he was younger, living in Greece. So obviously, when he goes, he loves to be able to eat that stuff, and I'm not hating it either. All right, so but yeah, aside from that, yeah, we took that train ride down and head back to the ship. For only being there half a day, absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever, place I'd ever seen in my life. Most ships, though, most cruises you go on, the itinerary includes going to Santorini, but you're there all day. You're not there for just 4 or 5 hours, which we were. You're there all day. And I know my dad, he goes on a lot of cruises. He basically goes twice a year now. When he goes on a cruise. And most of the times when he goes on a cruise, one of the stops is Santorini. It's hard not to go there. If again, if I encourage you to go. Whether everyone's got a different like. You might like scenery, you might like expedition, you might like beaches, everyone's got something different that they like. You might like history. Regardless of what you like, if you can, if it's in your means to do so at some point, go see Santorini. I don't think you will regret going, even if it's on a cruise for just one day, that's worth it. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't say that enough, how stunning and gorgeous Santorini is. To me, maybe you go there and you don't like it. I don't know. Everyone's got different tastes, but to me, it was the most beautiful thing I had seen. So that was the three other stops that we did. Again, we did 6 stops in 4 days. From Monday through Thursday, we did 6 stops in 4 days. The following day, after we got done with all of it, we we docked back in Athens. We were in and out of Piraeus, and from there, me and my wife had to go home. We had to come back and work a Michigan game a couple of days later. That's why we couldn't stay. The rest of the family ended up staying on another week. My uncle, aunt, his 2 daughters, and the other cousin, and my cousin Azaria. She had a friend come and visit. They ended up staying where me and Selena were when we left, and then eventually they went to another area. So they got to for a couple of days they went to another area in Greece. So they got to have a nice time. But for the time that we got to spend in Athens and in that on that cruise, it was really nice. Whether or not we'll get to go again, we'll see. It all depends with time and money and work and all that. If it works out, great. But if not, we definitely got to experience a trip of a lifetime with it. It was nice for the family because that was the year my mom died. It was nice to be able to come together, bond together a little bit. Part of the grieving process. I know my dad really appreciated it. I appreciated it, and I'm glad Selena got a chance to see it. She's been in and around the Greek culture now for since 2010 when we got married, but now she got to go see Greece itself. See it with her own eyes, experience it, what it's like. Very hospitable people, um, very nice. As regards like just the way people are over there. The food, the culture itself. If you think that you would enjoy Greece, I don't know many people that I've talked to that have gone to Greece and hated it. Most anyone that I've ever talked to that has got to go visit Greece has loved it. So if you are looking to go to any one of those places, Rhodes, Crete, Santorini, or anywhere in Greece, if that is something that's on your bucket list, let me know. If you want to go on a cruise over there, especially, I'm your guy. j.paradise.travels@gmail.com is where you can email me and we can touch base that way. Or you can reach out to me on either Facebook or Instagram, Jay's, Jays, Jay's Paradise Travels. You can look me up there and reach out to me, send me a message there, whichever one you prefer. I can, you know, touch base with you after that. I would love to be able to help you with that. Don't let planning your vacation, especially if you're going on a cruise and want to see these places, don't let it be a DIY project. Allow someone who knows what they're doing, professional, help you out with that. So, again, thank you very much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope that it maybe whetted your appetite to go out there and take a look at what the world has to offer. That's my goal. I want to be able to share my experience with you, show you what a great time I've had. I love traveling. I want you to love it too. And I want to be able to help you get out there as well. So contact me and I'll be more than willing to do it. Please like, rate, share, subscribe, all those good things that podcasters need in order to keep this podcast going. Try to build up the channel, try to build up the audience so we can continue to do this for you, share some other things. And in time, maybe even add to the channel. I've got some other things in my mind thinking of what I might want to do as time goes on. Hopefully be able to be in a position to do that. Thank you again, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.